Some of the issues that may make us vulnerable to food insecurity were listed on Weekend Deal yesterday when we listened and watched contributions from our sister stations nationwide. We also had a guest, Dr. Rose Gidado. She talked about urbanization, growth, and development. We talked about COVID-19 being a challenge. From NTA Abuja, Jacqueline told us about rural to urban migration. We visited Edo State, learned about palm oil production and some of the challenges they face. And we're talking about food security. Some factors mitigate against it, but it is possible to surmount, overcome, and move forward. That is the angle that Francis is taking this morning as he brings us our overview.
Nigeria is a country richly blessed with abundant natural and human resources that, if properly harnessed, can feed its people and export the surplus to other countries. Yet it is experiencing persistent food challenges, both in terms of quality and quantity.
We are not producing enough to feed this nation. We are far, far, far away from it. To be fully, in control of our food security, we need to do much than what we are doing. A lot of facility has been provided, but I think the problem is in terms of productivity, in terms of participants in the agricultural sector. Federal government is doing the best that it could, but I don't think, we are, the states are actually complementing, the federal government. Neither is the private sector. So make the rural sector very, very attractive, and you'll find them, going back, we have so much land.
Reduction in food production and youth unemployment have characterized the present-day status of the Nigerian economy. These problems have been associated with an increase in population without increase in agricultural productivity, which has been recognized in many reports on poverty in Africa as the key for achieving the poverty targets of the development goals.
People are still farming. If people are not farming, the situation would have been worse. People are still farming. There's a lot of rice production, in other areas of this country. I think Ebonyi is doing well, Kebbi is doing well, Kano too is now doing well. So, and I think the Southwest too, they are doing well. So, the little that we are producing, is helping, but what I'm saying that it's not good enough.
Civil conflict is one of the leading causes of food insecurity, affecting food and agriculture. In Nigeria, the conflict are Boko Haram's insurgency and violent clashes between herders and farmers.
Certainly, there's no way, security will not affect, or insecurity will not affect, agricultural sector. It will, because, our agricultural sector is rural. It is not industrial yet, and the peasant farmers are the people that are doing much of the work now. And therefore, if there is no, guaranteed security, in terms of people going to their farm to farm and then come back, yes, we will have a big challenge.
President Muhammadu Buhari, since assumption of office, has established a National Food Security Council to address challenges in the country's food and agricultural sector.
The policy is doing well, but there are no good hands in helping President Muhammadu Buhari's policy. In anchor borrowing, for me, yes, they have done a little bit, but I think, it needs to be reviewed, totally reviewed in terms of, making it accessible to the right people.
Small-scale farmers with less than 2 hectares of land produce about 90% of the food in Nigeria. Unless they employ sustainable farming practices, to protect land, water and soil, farmers won't be able to produce enough to feed their families or meet public demands.
Today, the banks are not financing agriculture. They are not. They are saying that it's too risky to do that. The other day, we were suggesting every senator should have, maybe 2 acres, 3 acres, 4 acres, or even 10 acres or hectares, in his own, constituency. And it is the only thing that is allowed by constitution for a parliamentarian to do. So how many of us do we have farms? Each area of this country should be able to produce, the kind of thing that they are good at producing. So in my own place, we are looking at rice, we are looking at even cash crops. We are going into the tea and coffee, we are doing sesame, we are doing so many other things. We are looking into them. But first of all, land preparation, and then, land integration with our people.
Reducing Nigeria's food insecurity demands a concerted effort from the government and private sectors working together.
Federal government has established NISAL. NISAL, is to provide, a guarantee, for agricultural lending in this country. So because the banks are not lending. So for me, we should force or we should guide the banks to provide enough funding and enough lending, to the agricultural sector. One of the ways is to share the risk. So they must be part of people to share the risk. Another way of putting it, let the fiscal side of the economy, putting pressure on the banks or guide the banks, something like guided sectoral allocation of credits. For me, it's a simple thing. Where's agricultural insurance? We have to improve on that. We have bank that we call agricultural bank. I don't know how much it is doing. Bureaucracy has actually affected it to the extent that it is no longer doing what it's supposed to do.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on food security in Nigeria.
Food security and the way forward. We can make Nigeria invulnerable to food security when all hands are on deck, providing checks and balances where there are challenges. Most importantly, ensuring that our youths do not cross to the urban areas because they cannot access loans, like we found out yesterday. You're watching Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority. OBK Charles put together a feature for us on the show today, and his focal point is talking about preservation of food. Let's see this.
The demographic and population of Nigeria is a looming challenge in an era of socio-economic, political, technological setbacks associated with modern food processing and preservation expectations.
For government to look into this matter, they have to visit farmers that produce to encourage them on the way of preserving these products. Because when you have products, you don't preserve them with the right preservatives, it becomes a problem to the society. Whatsoever they decide to use to preserve and is not decided by government, it will not be good for human consumption.
In examining nutritional support and status for national development, major stakeholders in food production, chain and sectors of agriculture need to check and balance the health hazards resulting from the use of chemicals in the preservation of food in Nigeria.
Generally, I'm not an expert in the agricultural sector, but I know that there are preservative methods, and I think there is no much, sensitization on the right preservative methods that is healthy and those that are not healthy. You understand? But as in
nationwide education program to focus on the effects of the use of chemicals in food preservation is necessary.
We're looking at food security in Nigeria, how we can make Nigeria even vulnerable to food insecurity. And so far, we've been talking about challenges. That was yesterday. Today, we're preferring solutions. That's how we go to ETV in Lagos. Let's see what they found.
Food security is required to ensure that individual of a country has physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and healthy food at all times of the year, and this involves the four interrelated elements of availability, utilization, stability, and not forgetting the purchasing power. How well has Cross River State government fared, considering the agro-revolution in the state?
The governor have done so much in the area of agriculture. The ultramodern cocoa processing factory in Ikom is also completed. Amongst other value chains of cassava and livestock, Cross River State have the biggest poultry farm and the processing factory called Kalachika, located right here in Calabar. This industry is meant to create employment and create income for farmers in Cross River State.
The foreign rice is about 34,000 naira per bag, while the local rice, which we have destoned, stone-free, is about 24,000 naira. So you can see the differential that the production of local rice is a welcome development. I am aware that there is also a program of the federal government that they are promoting cassava cultivation.
With Cross River State government keying into the vision of the federal government in meeting the demands of the people, has this helped in reduction of prices of food in the state?
Normally, if you go to other states, this spaghetti, you get it there 5,000 something, but here it's 6,000 something because of the road.
Things are too expensive and customers are complaining. What you write in your list, you cannot even buy any of them.
They have done that. You should see it displayed in the market, and then it should be affordable for customers to buy. Not that when you come, you have to change your mind, go maybe for different thing because of the price.
With the current economic situation in the country, experts are advising the populace to key into the agricultural revolution to cushion the harsh economic realities. The question therefore remains, are people still farming?
So the farmers are in their farm, and this is farming season in Cross River State. All the farmers are in the farm in the various value chains. Under poultry value chains, farmers are also engaged. So it is a bit to kind of increase food supply into the economy, towards leading to food security and sustainability. This Cross River State government have done well.
Doing it as far as you're making food available to the masses, and then those who have the resources get involved. This should be a motivation for you. Don't sit back with the resources that God has put in your hands.
Farming, a fun thing for me. Now, as you can see, this is groundnut. I'm farming groundnut, and we use groundnut in cooking. I love to cook. I don't need to go to market and be buying most of the food things. I just come to my farm and harvest. I go to my neighbor's farm and harvest and make food from farm to table.
Agriculture should not be seen as mere farming. So we call or advise the young persons, the youths, the people who are sitting at home folding hands, waiting for white-collar jobs, to take advantage of these federal government programs.
People are of the opinion that all hands must be on deck and all tiers of government should value and protect the local food value chain in order to address the emerging and continuing challenges to food security in the country.
Every state has unique things that they grow, sometimes that have to do with the cuisines that come from that part of the country. Let's see what's happening in Rivers State, because every state grows something. Are they still farming in Rivers State?
Back in the days, agriculture played a very critical role in the nation's economic growth until the discovery of oil mineral resources. Indeed, farming was a key aspect of various Nigerian societies, though with diverse crops cultivated in different regions. Each farming season usually comes with high hopes for the farmers who look forward to a bumper harvest.
Harvest is bountiful. We eat and still have enough to sell to others who could not farm.
Rivers State, irrespective of its status as an oil-rich and highly industrial state, keyed into agricultural development quite early, making it one of the leading states in the production of cassava, yam, maize, cocoyam, vegetables, coconuts, palm trees, assorted seafoods, and lots more. However, the impact of oil exploration and exploitation, coupled with pollution, soot, and environmental degradation, has made the fortunes in farming appear to be narrowing down more and more each farming season in Rivers State.
Everybody knows, it's no more news that we have this soot in Port Harcourt in particular, and some other parts of Rivers State. It's actually a big problem for farmers. I will tell you, they were lost about 200 and something fish in this particular pond. What happened? There was a lump of soot, you might not see it with your eyes, that fell into this pond and had effect on the fish and peeled the whole skin of this fish. Before we woke up in the morning, they were all dead. So it's a major issue in Rivers State.
Time we should go to farm, we could not go to farm again because of insecurity. So planting is now a fear. So we are asking that government should as well help us in the area of security so that we can farm and farm with a peace of mind.
Within the local communities, subsistent farming is still in practice. Mechanization, improved seedlings, and unavailability of fertilizer, which could have come handy towards mitigating these challenges for farmers, are not also easy to come by.
Let there be an increase in the power distribution and supply so that we can have what Nigerians call NEPA, but that's power. And then we don't need to run our generators on a daily basis. And it will keep our fish healthy and our farm clean. And then the issue of environmental degradation. We still believe that there's something government can do to stop this, burning of products that causes the soot that stops us in our operations here.
At the moment, the farming population is highly affected by the aforementioned challenges. In spite of all these issues, Rivers State still contributes immensely to the food basket of the nation.
From Rivers State, right there in Port Harcourt, with so many interesting things, okay? We get to know the challenges they're facing and the way forward. Everyone must take enormous steps, giant steps at this time, to overcome challenges of food security. We can do it when we're working together. We have a guest in the studio. She's going to be taking us through sustainable demonstration farming, which she has been doing for 5 years. Dr. Stella Iwagu is a farmer. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Wow. When we hear a woman as a farmer, I know I'm not referring to hoe and cutlass farming.
Why not?
You do that too?
Yes, we do. We have a range of products. It's actually an organic integrated farm. And we do vegetables, we do animals from pigs to rabbits to snail to chicken and turkeys.
People eat rabbits?
Yes. Rabbits are one of the most delicious meat you can have. It's completely lean meat, no fat. And you don't have to deal with all the cholesterol and challenges you have with goat and cow.
Interesting.
When you do rabbits, yes.
Interesting.
And it's something you can do it on a low budget. Can do it in your backyard. It has little or no smell, and as a matter of fact, all the byproducts are very useful.
Interesting.
So we're also into mushroom farming. So we demonstrate how you can farm mushroom. You know, most time people go to the wild to pick mushroom, and we've lost a lot of those forests where you can pick mushroom. And there's also the risk of picking poisonous mushroom when you go into the wild. So we farm oyster mushroom, we farm Ganoderma mushroom in our farms.
And so someone can just go to this backyard farm and create an entire meal.
Yes.
Interesting.
Exactly. That is the whole idea.
Can they also grow to sell?
Yes, they're growing to sell. People started from growing the one they would eat. And of course, most time you harvest a whole lot more than you can consume. So you make a gift of it or you sell to your friends and neighbors.
Interesting.
As a matter of fact, that was how I started. I didn't set out to start a commercial farm. I started growing what I would eat because I came back from the US in 2015, and even in America, I'd always grown my food. And it has multiple benefits. One, you're growing your own vegetables. Like I tell people, what's growing in your backyard? Why are we busy planting royal palms and planting masquerade trees when we can plant our guava, when we can plant our soursop, when we can plant our pears, avocado pears, our oranges, our mangoes? They're all fruits that are low-hanging that you can plant. And in between, if we can plant flowers in pots and they thrive, we can plant tomatoes in pots. We can plant peppers in pots. We can plant water leaf in pots. I mean, so don't tell me.
Plastic pots, clay
Plastic pots, clay pots, even broken pots, broken containers. You don't even have to go spending money.
Tell us what we need to do. How do we get that started? Because I suspect it's not as easy as you make it out to be.
It is very easy. First, you need good soil. And we have soil everywhere. So you get some good soil. If you can't find really good soil, you can start composting. Composting is an important component because I tell people it's like you take your money, you throw it into a trash can. Then you pay someone to come and throw your trash away. Then you go to the market and buy back your trash. That's what we did when we don't compost.
Interesting, when you can make it yourself.
When you can compost yourself. So all the rubbish you got from home, your ugu leaves, your yam peels and everything, put them inside the bin, put a little bit of soil to cover it so it doesn't smell, turn it from time to time, and before you know it, you have a rich soil. So once you have your soil, then even your water leaf, you buy water leaf from the market, you pick out your leaves, stick it back inside the pot that has the soil in it. And in a few weeks, you have water leaf thriving. You buy mint from the market, take the leaves, put the mint sticks inside the pot, and in a few weeks, you have mint thriving. Even carrots, the head of the carrot, you slice it. Even onion, you slice it, put it in a little bit of water, let it sit a little bit above the water to absorb some moisture. And before you know it, it will start growing. You can plant bitter leaf as hedge around your house. You can plant scent leaf as hedge around your house.
It adds beauty.
Things have beauty and function. Something like scent leaf, in Igbo we call it nchoanwu, that it's actually a insect repellent. So you plant it around your houses. Same thing with lemongrass. Lemongrass is so aromatic. You plant it around your house.
Very useful,
and it's very useful. You make tea. You can make scent leaf tea. You can make mint tea. You can make lemongrass tea, and they all add to your health.
And then you become a moving health and wellness center. But just a minute, hold the thought. We'll come back to continue to allow you to articulate all those practices, things we can do in our homes. Now, all these leaves she's been mentioned, talking about Dr. Stella here, we want to make them into delicious soups and stews. We may use palm oil sometimes. We use groundnut oil, we use palm oil as well. Let's go to Asaba in Delta State and see. Let's learn more about their palm oil production, how we can harness both initiatives for delicious cuisine.
Delta State, situated in southern region of Nigeria, with an over 5 million people engaged in large-scale farming back then, before the advent of the oil boom, on a wide array of raw materials crops, which include oil palm, rubber, cassava, maize, fruits and vegetables from agriculture, offering investment opportunity to the state. The state has great potentials in agriculture, according to Eugene Nwaedozie of the Delta State Agric Services, who buttressed the fact that many are into farming.
A lot of people are farming in Delta State. Almost in all our rural communities, let me tell you, 100% of those in the rural community are into farming, because that is just their main occupation. Farming activity is booming, and evidence is, you can see now, this is farming season, this is harvesting season. You can see maize everywhere. Where are they coming from? It's from the same state, Delta State. You can see potato coming out. You can see yam coming out. Where are they coming from? Delta State. You can see cassava. Where are they coming out? From Delta State. So the land, in fact, the lands in Delta State are underutilized.
Though some persons are of a different view.
The population of people for Delta State is they many. And we where they farm, we no reach the half of them. That is why it is they cost like that. We need many people for farm.
Not everybody do farm nowadays. Why? That most of the farmers are afraid. Why? That whenever they go to farm, people come there and harm them.
Other important food crops cultivated in Delta State are rice, cassava, plantain, yam, and a host of others. One of the things that make Delta State distinctive is its fertile soil, which has led to most of the land here being cultivated on to make food surplus and affordable. However, at the market, people are groaning with hike of foodstuff, irrespective of what the state government is doing to make food supply sufficient to the citizenry.
Gary, we sold 700 per bucket, we sold 600, as the case may be. But ever since this year, it has not been less than 900, 1,000 naira. But before now, it wasn't like that. Rain did not fall at the normal time it ought to fall. Things will still not get better.
All the old products, both okra and vegetable, they are very costly in the market. And farmers they are complaining that water has carried their whole farm, so they don't have anything again. They are just bringing it little by little.
When you come to chicken now, the chicken feed is adding money every day by day. Like 2 days ago, we went to go and buy feed. Feed that they are selling at the rate of 7.3 is now 7.6.
Commodities are expensive in the market because cost of production is high. Cost of farming is high. Take a laborer today to your farm, it will charge you nothing less than 2,500 naira for his labor per day. And probably where it's going to cover is insignificant, not much.
The Delta State government is not resting on its oars in ensuring farming creates empowerment for Deltans and make food available in the state and beyond. This led to its flagging up various agricultural programs such as Youth Agricultural Entrepreneur Program, YAGEP, STEP, amongst others.
And the environment has been created by the state governor, our amiable governor, the man who has passion for agriculture. And he's also into farming.
With the efforts of the Delta State government on farming, Deltans hope for more friendly policies and provisions of funds to boost the economy and make farming more attractive for food sufficiency in the state.
You're watching Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority. We've just come from Asaba and we've been learning about palm oil production and what is happening there at Delta State. And earlier, we're talking with Dr. Stella Iwago. She has been demonstrating ways which we can have backyard farming and do things on our own, scent leaf, ugu leaf, and all of that. Now she's going to demonstrate mushroom planting, going from the beginning stage. Dr. Stella, tell us, what are all these on our table?
All right, this is just different stages of the mushroom. All right, so it starts with the medium that you plant the mushroom in. And what our medium of choice is sawdust. So you mix sawdust with calcium carbonate and all the things that the mushroom will be able to eat because the mushroom grows in rotten wood. So you have to put it and turn it and to rot. That's what we call fermentation. So we'll ferment the sawdust. And then we bag it.
In a container like this?
No, on the floor.
Okay.
You turn it and just cover it. So you're trying to get it to rot. And then thereafter you bag it. So after you've bagged it, so you put it trying to form the log of wood. So this is now like a log of wood. And then you pasteurize it. Pasteurization is a process where you boil it to kill every organism inside this, so that nothing competes with the mushroom you plant in it. So once you've done that, the next stage is to inoculate it. And this is the mushroom spawn. Some people call it the mushroom seed, which actually can be another enterprise for someone. So you buy this. This is sold in many places where people can get mushroom support services. And the process of pasteurization is inoculation is a very sterile process. So you bring this log of wood, then you take some of this seed and plant inside it. That's what you're seeing here. Then you have to put it in a dark room. You know, mushroom is a fungus. So you need a dark place that is airy and cool. So you put it in there for about 21 days. So all you do is go to your backyard, go to wherever you set it out and pick your mushroom daily. And if you want to invest make it as a business with less than 50 to 100,000, you could actually start a viable mushroom farm. And it actually grows. It's the gift that keeps giving. And we're talking about about soil amendment. Once this has spent, so after about 3 weeks of 1 month or 6 weeks, it will stop growing. The soil is now no more productive, but yet you still have a lot of nutrient in it. You still have a lot of organism in it. So you bring this, break it down, and put it in your planting container and plant your vegetables and things inside it. Your spinach,
lemon,
your mince, your vegetable, your ugu. And you can see it's just like in our farm, we call it a zero waste farm. The byproduct, the waste from one.
Everything is useful.
Oh, but that is what nature is meant to be.
Yes.
And that's why we call it sustainable. But now we're even moving from sustainable and talking about regenerative agriculture, where you actually make the soil better, make everything you're doing better so that it can be sustained.
And something tells me that when you're doing healthy things around your home, everyone in that environment begins to develop healthy habits.
Of course.
Inhales healthy air.
You see,
when you're eating healthy food, homegrown.
Yes.
Wow.
Because when, you know, God is so amazing the way he has done this cyclical process that we're not all competing for oxygen. Like mushroom, this grows without oxygen. Then, you know, when you plant trees and vegetables around your house, they release carbon dioxide. I mean, they release oxygen. They take in the carbon, all the carbon dioxide you release, they take it in. And what do they give you in return?
Oxygen. Fresh.
So when you are living, when you're surrounded by trees, you're consuming pure oxygen.
Wow.
You know, and that really nurtures everybody. Another thing about this backyard farming is it's also good exercise for you. Why do you want to go and pay gym membership to go and do sports when if you do 10 weeds, if you pick up 10 plants, if you pick up a pot from you, that's like you're lifting weight. Your arms are strong, your core is good. You're energized, and I mean, you can't go wrong.
Then being in nature, there's fresh air, you are rejuvenated and refreshed. So it's really it's a winner all the way.
It's winner all the way.
Thank you so much for coming to enlighten us on Weekend Deal today. Dr. Stella Iwago, she's a farmer, sustainable demonstration farming.
Yes.
And now you're moving into regeneration. Wish you well. Keep training Nigerians. We can do very well with this. Now we move to Lagos very swiftly to tell you what is happening there with market survey. They've gone to the market and this is what they found.
This is Sonyibo Market here in Lagos, noted for foodstuffs. It is no news to customers that things are very expensive. So the rich come into the market, quickly do their purchases and leave, while the average Nigerian spends more time bargaining according to their budgets.
Before we dey buy the liter of rice, 130, 150. Now it's 500 naira. It's very, very bad.
But what you should know, factors of production flows to where there's high density of capital. So nobody likes to suffer.
The pepper where they buy before, where they buy 1,000 before, they sell on 2,000 now, 1,500. Everything costs.
When Weekend Deal visited the markets, traders lamented that prices of goods increased daily, thereby making it unbearable for them to make profits.
This carrot is 200 naira. This one is 500. But before, this one is 100 naira. You are buying a bag of carrots, 60,000. Before, you are buying 6,000 or 8,000 naira. Higher is cost 12,000 naira. Now you are buying 60,000 naira.
We sell it 1,000 naira. But now it's 1,500. Everything yam is too cost.
Plantain is very high now. We pray that everything should come down. Look at this, like this now, 2,500. But before you can buy this one like 1,200, 1,300. But we pray the thing change.
Everything they have added price to it on the transportation before you settle the agboro and all that. So before coming back, the whole price will. There are some people that are even selling it 2,800, 3,000. So you see, things are very high in the market for now. If I have anything there that I will go into, I will stop it. I'm selling it because I don't want to start home.
Federica, you bought 8. Then 10 lover of this one now is 8,000. Egusi is 1,500. a pen normal. Then the regard is 300 naira. Pepe, pen is 3,000. The regard is 600.
However, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, is still battling with food and health farmers' crisis due to escalating insecurity.
Food security now, when we look at global warming, it has reduced the rate of food production because the soil condition is affected, the amount of rainfall per time is affected, the habits has really contributed to this. The moment you have a garden, you will see ewedu coming up. As long as you tend that garden, ewedu will grow. You can plant vegetable, you can plant yam. It depends on the size of the land that you have. At least something that will take you off market, not outrightly in this case. Something that you know that you can just go there, pick, you can plant okra and things like that, plant ugu. And so you are good when it comes to vegetable. And then your other expenses can now be channeled to buying milk, buying fish, buying meat, rice, and things like that.
High yield and double cropping cycle per year has been the target of the Nigerian farmer. The quest for food, water, security, and sufficiency, despite numerous challenges confronting them. And the government is not unaware of these challenges. It has been spending to support food production for availability and affordability.
Thank you, ETV, for that market survey. But what we know is that we have all it takes to ensure that all Nigerians can eat and eat healthy. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be having a chat with our next guest. Don't go away. You are watching Weekend Deal with the Nigerian Television Authority. We have been talking about food security, and for the most part of today, we're looking at the way forward. How can we change the status quo? Yes, there are challenges, but they are not so enormous or gigantic that Nigerians and Nigeria cannot surmount and overcome. We'll be talking with the National Secretary of the Federation of Agricultural Commodity Associations of Nigeria, Dr. Bello Dogondaji. It's a pleasure to have you join us on Weekend Deal.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
Great to have you.
Good morning, viewers.
Food security. For a long time, many said it was a rumor that Nigeria grows. We farm a lot of things. You know, there's always food in the market and a lot of food that we can afford. But from what we have been hearing the last few weeks and the features we've got nationwide from our sister stations, one may say it's not all rumor. There really are challenges that can make Nigeria vulnerable to food insecurity. You are the helm of affairs where the food, everything is generated, and pricing. Have you heard that there's a price hike with most of our staple foods? Beans, rice, even vegetables, onions, okra, tomatoes, pepper. It's going up. Or is it just because some people are mischievous? What is happening really?
It's really frightening. A lot of factors are responsible for the price hikes, especially agricultural commodity products.
Factors beyond your control?
Well, we are part and parcel, and the challenges are for everybody, from the authority that be, from the citizens, from some of us, the players. There's a lot. Everybody has his own share of the deal. The value change that every commodity goes or pass through, that is the umbrella I am talking about.
Okay.
That is the production, the processing, and the marketing.
Interesting.
So
Just like I thought.
The topic is really central to our activities. When you look at the production side, who is involved?
Tell us.
Of course, the government is there playing her role, what it's supposed to do.
Providing grants and loans.
Providing grant and loans, interventions here and there to make sure farmer goes to the farm.
And they are going.
They are going in some places, and in some places they are not going because of the situations on the ground. That is the insecurity, especially those areas where these commodities are produced largely. So the few people that can go to the farm and produce, they will have to attach price. And to a large extent, you cannot control their own price because of the high risk and the cost of capital too.
That they invest.
Yes.
But government has provided loans and grants. But we'll come back. Sir, we'll come back. Dr. Bello will come back to talk about what they are doing with what they have, because everyone is going to have to make do with what is available. But Elizabeth Agbaye has been putting something together to tell us, when we now get this food, when we prepare it at home or the one we've not prepared, how do we preserve them so that they last long and
well, without waste, and at the barest cost. A big task, isn't it? But that depends on your point of view. It can be easy if you go by these tips. Buy and use vegetables and other condiments that are in season. That way, you get them cheaper. Buy vegetables 1 day at a time if you live close by the market, or 3 days portions at a time. The leftover must be kept dry in a paper bag and stuck in your fridge. It can stay up to 4 days without losing the nutrients. Make your soup stock and bulk. Split in smaller portions before refrigerating. Pull the ones you need 1 day at a time, while you still keep the rest fresh in the fridge. Avoid pouring all your cereals in the dispenser or leaving the bags open after collecting. They get cold and everyone avoids them. We love to buy in bulk, but often we do not manage the items well. Store your grains in airtight containers rather than just leaving them in a plastic bag on the floor. Put a bit of dry pepper in them, especially if it's going to stay for a long time. That way, we keep away the weevils. When you're not sure of the number of people coming in for dinner, choose the easy recyclable dishes. For instance, the white rice, rather than the jollof rice. The leftover can easily be turned to sweet jollof or fried rice, giving it another compelling attraction for the family. Buy your bread in bulk if you do not bake them. Store in the refrigerator. Take 1 day's portion at a time, toast, and still enjoy your oven fresh taste. Eat as family, not as co-tenants. Beyond the bond that comes from that, you will find that you actually get to minimize waste. Take your food in small portions to avoid waste. Truth is, we often are not as hungry as we feel. Now we know we have no more reasons for waste. Let's feed well, save costs, and always remember, your waste is another man's food dish.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's important that we teach our wards and children how to eat, not just healthy, how to respect food and manage it well. Don't take more than what you can eat. Take a serving that you can eat. It's better to go back for a second serving than to load your plate and then you don't finish it. Also, let's also teach ourselves how to preserve food that we purchase. We were talking, before we listened to Elizabeth, we were talking with Dr. Bello Dogondaji. He's the National Secretary of the Federation of Agricultural Commodity Associations of Nigeria. The way forward, yes, there are challenges. How do we move? How do we surmount?
I'm happy to note that the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Malan Sabo Nanunu, is coming in with a policy on mechanization.
Interesting.
And you see, the mechanization is a way forward to big-time production. What I mean, commercial farming will be encouraged. It means we are migrating from subsistence farming to commercial farming, large volumes. I'm also happy to tell you, Uncle Borrowers program has largely reduced our attention when it comes to food security in this country. Take for instance, from the date our president went to Kebbi and launches the Uncle Borrowers program.
Kebbi Rice?
Yes, the rice. That has significantly repositions the right production in this country. Our production before then, it used to be 2.5 million metric tons. And today, we are somewhere 8.5, 9 million metric tons. That has largely reduced the consumptions of the foreign rice.
And we hope to eradicate that.
And that is a step forward. So some of these policies are out there to checkmate. And some of the good policies brought in, you see, is the milling.
Okay, but how come rice is still costly?
Well,
local rice.
You know, it is a function of so many things. Some of these things you are talking, the transportation system, the cost of capital, the cost of money,
will it come down?
Whatever.
Will it come down?
It is coming down. A lot of policies are on ground to checkmate the price. Like the Rice Association of Nigeria is giving direct allocation to the millers, so that the activities of the middlemen along the line is largely reduced. Because some of these prices you see, they are are functions of the middlemen too.
We heard that yesterday.
Yes.
One of our features.
Yes, they play a role. Yes. So if their activities are checkmated, we are not saying that they should lose business, because they are part of the chain. The middlemen are part of the chain, but their activities should be streamlined. Government should come out with a program
to
restructure the Bank
of Agriculture,
to give it a facelift, because it has the mandate to carry out all the agricultural activities in this country.
Okay, let's, on a final note, the challenges are there. Thank God you've told us about ways forward that can be adhered to, and I can prefer solutions as soon as possible.
Yes.
What are your final thoughts on this matter?
Well, I'm telling you from the position I occupied, the commodities are really trying their best to ensure that they produce food for this country.
For us.
Yeah. For us.
For that, we commend you.
And I also want to commend our president in his He's always saying, let's eat what we produce. So that is what is responsible for even curtailing
importation.
Not only the importation, the food insecurity.
Production.
Because to a large extent, we have food security in this country.
Okay.
To a large extent,
with your responsibilities being taken very seriously, you are checkmating that.
We are checkmating the activities and the movements of some of these things. You see, because it seems some of us now, we are now facing African Continental Free Trade Agreement. And we have endorsed, our president have signed the documents that we have entered. And in that market, there's one common market in Africa, which is the Continental Free Trade. So every African nation...
And if we utilize that platform well, it will help us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So all the commodities are prepared for that now. And look at now the challenges now. The challenges is you have to showcase what you produce, not only for your own home consumptions, to the African continent.
The African continent.
Because Nigeria occupies what population in Africa? Almost half the size of the population of Africa. The volume of this market is about $1.2 billion. So you could imagine we should showcase our product, our commodities, very well, so that we can get our own, we can carve a niche in that market.
We will.
Inshallah.
We will. We want to thank you very much.
You're welcome.
With your support, with your contribution, with the seriousness you are giving this issue, we know that we are on the right track. We say, well done, Dr. Bello Dogondaji, National Secretary, Federation of Agricultural Commodities Association of Nigeria. With men like you, we can only go forward. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us on Weekend Deal today and tell us about how you're tackling food insecurity to make sure that we stand strong in Nigeria. Usman Musari Koto went out to find out about what the cost of food is like out there when you're not making it at home, at restaurants and bukas.
Food is the basic necessity of man. It is a mixture of different nutrients such as carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. These nutrients are essential for growth, development, and maintenance of health throughout life. There is a general saying that we eat to live and not live to eat. If we must live, surely we must eat. The opinion of food sellers and consumers centers on reduction in production as a result of insecurity, with resultant increase in population and demand for food, which led to increments in price.
Everything now is always on the higher side. So if you buy things today, before tomorrow, you go back tomorrow, is another price that you're going to meet. The price is too atrocious everywhere now. You understand me? I must be sincere with you. It is my feed. It is what I've been dealing with. But just that because of this insecurity of the thing, and then the increase in the dollar of this our exchange rate, you understand me? Those are other things that is affecting the cost of the products in the market. Yes, that's what I can say for now.
Yeah, before it was okay, still now it's still okay. If you compare with other eateries out there, you see things going high. You know, when you check around, you see in the market, the high price of commodities is very alarming. So I think, yeah, it's okay. They are managing their business and they're trying to see how it will favor us as a customer. I don't think it's much higher, but out there, people are saying things are high. Yes, it's high, but the management of this are trying their best to see how they will put smiles in their customer faces.
Portion of food I'm selling is still the same price, and the size, like I reduce it a little because there's no any way I can increase the price. There is no money. People are complaining. So if I increase the price, I will not see anybody that will buy it.
I know they friendly. See this food where they eat now. Akpu where they eat here now. Where things don't cost the market now. Even the akpu, they reduce her. the money no increase. So this thing, make government, well, we go talk, they know they hear, but we will continue talking. If they like, may they help us. No like, we dey on God.
The situation has been worsened by COVID-19 pandemic. In light of the increasing demands on production, food vendors continue to lament on the urgent need for government intervention, most especially on the issue of insecurity ravaging the country.
So if government can just work very well for us on this security, I think that is number one, that it can help us. Because I believe that in Nigeria, most of us, we are ready to do something to even solve this problem.
So I don't think things every day going higher, people blaming government, this and that. We are the government. And still, they have their own fault too. They have their own fault too, in the sense they are not monitoring the regulators on commodity out there. They need to monitor.
The taste of the pudding is in the eating. We must all eat. So this topic we're tackling today is very timely. Every Nigerian must be able to eat and eat healthy on a daily basis. Nelson Mandela once said, "It always looks impossible until it's done." With all hands on deck, listen to the advice of all the experts we have brought on the program yesterday and today. We know that we're on the right track and the federal government is pushing us forward to a time where every Nigerian will stand proud, will stand tall and say, yes, it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be a Nigerian. We thank you for keeping our company. Go on and have a great week. Make sure you are in it to win it. God bless Nigeria.